On here, and I've got a 2005 Yamaha V 650. Once again, I am V-Star rich. I have like 5 or 6 of them. They're great bikes. This is a classic. It's silver. It's got a lot of metal flake in it. There's more of a gray. It's like a gunmetal. It's a cool color. Great bike. Let's take it for a spin. This is a 650, and I really like these bikes because it's a good bike for a lot of people. Because I'm 6'2". It's a full framed bike. You know, so I can ride this thing and not feel like I'm riding a tiny little bike. But it actually has pretty good power, and for most people, this is all you need. Not for me, of course, but for the average regular guy, this should be enough. These are great like beginner or entry level or like mid-level bikes for adults. You know, the last thing you want to do is buy some tiny little bike that's just too small for you. Now, this bike's been sitting around for a little while, and this is the first time I'm getting a chance to ride it, so gotta clean out some of that bad gas, but it's actually running pretty good. These are fun bikes. I mean, I wish I could have got something like this for my first bike instead of picking up a that's a Harley Davidson Rocker C, actually. Yeah, I would have loved to have had a bike like this for my first bike. It's cool looking. It feels fast. If it's your first bike, it feels fast. It's fun to ride. You look like you're on a big old giant bike. Yeah, it's definitely a great bike. They really they're hitting a good market segment. One of these days I'm gonna race one of these with a Harley 883 just to see how they really compare, because I think they might compare to each other a little closer than you might think, but I don't know. This bike only has 12,000 miles on it. Now, somebody was asking me about bikes with fuel gauges. Not too many bikes actually have a fuel gauge. Most, if it's a carbureted bike, then it normally just has the reserve tank on the petcock, and the way that works is whenever you start spitting and sputtering, and it starts going like this, you know what I mean? Then you reach over, you flip the petcock, and then bam, you have another 50 miles to go or something like that. That's when you know, hey, we gotta go to a gas station. If you're riding with a bunch of other riders, the official symbol for that is tapping on your gas tank. You pull up next to your buddy, be like, hey, I'm tapping on my gas tank, I need fuel. And then he lets the whole group knows, okay, this guy needs to get fuel. That's the official rider's symbol for doing that, if you don't know. So some bikes might have a fuel gauge, most don't. And then most fuel injected bikes, they don't have a fuel gauge, but they have a fuel light. So whenever you're getting low, that light comes on. You gotta read the manual, but it'll let you know, okay, hey, you got 30 miles to go or 40 miles to go or something like that, or there's 5 liters left. and then you go get gas. That's all part of the riding motorcycle. Living life on the edge. You don't really know how much fuel you have left. Just a little light comes on. This is actually a one-owner bike. A guy bought it, had it for about, I think, 7 years, and then he passed away, and his son rode it for about 2 years. I don't think those years added up. Yeah, that adds up. Yeah, that's close. His son rode it for a couple years, then traded it in. Here's the church. Yeah, great bikes. They're nice and light, but they're big looking. Everyone wants to look like they're riding a big bike without the big bike weight. And this thing is great for that. Up. That's my fault. I missed second gear, I threw it in neutral. Don't blame the motorcycle. Sometimes that just happens. Man, is it a nice day to go for a ride today. Guys, this is getting to be perfect motorcycle riding weather. If you're not riding, you wish you were. And if you don't ride, you've never ridden anything, and you want to get into it, this is you're an adult. This is a great bike to do it. When I say adult, I mean I'm not talking like 14-year-old kids. It's not your best bike. If you're an adult, you're a grown man, and you're like, I don't want to start out on some little baby bike. This is a great bike to start out on. The throttle response is forgiving, the clutch is forgiving. It's light. But it's got enough power that you're not going to be bummed out when you're riding with anyone else. That depends on what they're riding. And you can get into it for cheap. It's a good starter bike for an adult. It's got low miles. These things run for a long time. I like to swerve on the squiggly lines. Now, I don't know if any of you guys saw my other video about the motorcycle versus semi-truck. But it happened up there. Semi-truck just kept on. I'm riding, the semi-truck just keeps on pulling out. I have to get back on the side. I have to get on the side of the road in the gravel, in the rain, to avoid him. He comes about 2 feet from hitting me. And a lot of people, showed some concern, like, hey, I'm glad you're okay. But there's a couple people who are like blaming it on me. When you're riding bike, you always have to be. You need a contingency plan for every single car you see on the road. So if you see a car sitting right there, you assume he's not going to pull out. But then know what you're going to do if he does pull out. But you can't treat every car like worst case scenario. Because if you were going to do that, then you'd be holding up traffic, you'd be stopping, a car's up there, you'd be getting on the brakes, the car behind you would become a danger point. You have to hope for the best, plan for the worst. Don't plan for the worst. I mean, you're planning for the worst, but don't Don't just do whatever, don't assume every car is pulling out and act on that. If you're gonna do that, don't even be riding bike, you know? That's not safe. It puts other danger points around you, you know, like the cars behind you. It makes your driving very erratic. Alright guys, this bike is gonna be for sale. It's a great bike, it's a lot of fun to ride. Great entry or mid-level bike. Price is less than $3,000. I'll put the price below and I'll put my number on it. This bike's gonna sell fast. I keep on popping it in the neutral. This bike's gonna sell fast, and someone's gonna have a lot of fun with it. It's a great time to be buying a bike. Alright guys, subscribe and I'll see you guys later.